Welcome to the Instagram Stories for Monday, March 10th. I'm your host, Daniel Hill. Today on the show, we're going to hear some audio clips from the Instagram Unfiltered event that was held in Manhattan that I was not invited to. Additionally, the head of Instagram will be answering such questions as, what new features are you excited about coming soon? And why should I use close friends? And is creating a new account from scratch going to help with engagement? All of that and more on today's episode, but first, here's a quick word from our sponsor. Welcome back. Last week, Instagram held an Unfiltered event. I have not determined how to get invited to such events, but if you have a suggestion, I would love to hear it. The @creators account shared some audio clips from that event, but before I play those audio clips for you, I want to highlight one thing that they shared on Threads. The @creators account posted that people reshare 3.5 billion reels per day across Instagram and Facebook. They continue, the audience crossover between Facebook and Instagram is also a lot smaller than you might think. Typically, it's less than 1%, which means there's a massive net new audience for you to reach on Facebook. And you can start to reach them just by turning on cross-posting from Instagram, which allows you to seamlessly share your content on both platforms. I will link to what this graphic looks like in the show notes so that you can read it for yourself, but I would definitely recommend turning on the sharing between Instagram and Facebook. It allows you to post to multiple platforms at once without doing any extra steps, which I am all for. Now I'm going to play some of the clips from people who were at the Instagram Unfiltered event sharing their key takeaways. Here are the clips.
The key takeaway from Unfiltered is that be consistent. Numbers, likes, they come and go, but community stays forever. So connect with your community and be consistent. Show up for them and they will show up for you.
The biggest things I learned today were treat Instagram like it's a vlog. Talk to your followers like they're your friends. Be very transparent with them because that's how you build a community. And then secondly, get on Threads. Like, you open up a whole different audience, a new reach. You create more engagement when you get on Threads. So if you're looking to grow your following, that's where you need to be.
The biggest takeaway from today's Instagram Unfiltered is basically that you have to put yourself first in terms of creation and your audience first in terms of consumption. Basically, the best way of saying that is you gotta understand what people are trying to consume and what makes you special, and use that to create your content rather than using it the other way around. Also, keep in mind, this is a big little nugget, use music on carousels are huge popping right now.
The biggest thing that I took away from this Instagram panel was that every portion of Instagram has a different algorithm. So when you post on Reels or you post a story or you go on the Explore page, it's all different. So it's important for you guys to utilize every single part of Instagram because new people are going to find you along the way. And for those of y'all that come to me and say, hey, I want to create content, but I'm super nervous about what such and such will think, they brought in some trial reels so you guys can post stuff without like your grandma or like that friend that you're kind of worried about judging you seeing. So listen, guys, keep posting, keep following your vision. I'm going to see y'all soon.
One of the biggest things that I love, though, is really talking about broadcast channels. I feel like broadcast channels, as they said, is kind of like your new newsletter. And when they said that, a light bulb popped in my head. Look at this as an opportunity to talk about hot takes, really like talk to your community, your day ones. I'm creating one today. It was so good.
Threads is that girl. I mean, I already knew that, but today just confirmed it. And if you're not on Threads, you definitely need to get on Threads.
There are more clips, but I think you get the gist. Nothing earth-shattering that you haven't heard on this show before, but if you want to check out that post, the link is in the show notes. And if you know how I can get invited to an event like that, please send me a DM at Daniel Hill Media. I would love to go. Or alternatively, can I throw my own event like that? If you could help me do that, send me a DM also. I'm very interested. We are going to take a quick break. When we come back, you're going to hear the head of Instagram answer questions like, if a reel is taking off, will posting again slow it down? Should we wait? That's a good question. Stay tuned. Welcome back. Let's dive into some of the questions and answers that the head of Instagram gave on his recent Ask Me Anything. Let's start with the first one. If a reel is taking off, will posting again slow it down? Should we wait?
If you posted a reel and it's taking off, it should not affect that reach to post another thing, particularly if it's not right immediately afterwards. Sometimes people can be worried about posting too frequently because you might bother your followers, but honestly, a ton of reach comes from people who don't follow you yet at this point. We call that unconnected reach, and there should be no concerns. I think in general, people are too precious about how often they share. If you are worried about it, though, you can always post another reel as a trial, which just goes to people who don't follow you and not to your profile to start, and then upgrade it later.
Just to be clear, Instagram is always going to recommend that you post more. They want quantity because that helps them to stay relevant. Let's go on to the next question. Can starting a new account from scratch help with engagement? To be honest, I would say no, because you do not have any followers. You are starting from zero. It would be better to start with the account that you already have because at least you'll reach some of those followers. Even if it is not all of them, you will at least be reaching a subset of them to start with. If you start from an account that has 0 followers, you have no one that you will be definitively reaching.
Usually starting a new account from scratch is harder than working on an existing account. So you have to build up your followership from scratch. We have to start to learn, are people interested in your account from nothing? That cold start can be tough, and it's almost always tougher than just iterating on your existing account. But sometimes it's the right thing to do. Sometimes you just want a clean break. Sometimes you have a new, presentation or a different interest. Maybe you want to get into posting about one of your hobbies and your main account was posting about your work or something like that. And those types of examples, I think it's great.
That does make sense. If you're posting about a completely different genre, in that case, it would make sense to have a separate account. Let's go on to the next question. Why should I use close friends? Close friends is a great way to keep some things private while still having a public account. That's the easiest way to explain it.
Close friends is really useful if there's a small group of people that you want to share more with than you're willing to share with all of your followers. So I have a lot of followers who are focused on understanding how Instagram works. Most of them don't really care about my kids' photos. So I use close friends to share my kids' daily lives with a small group of people, about 50 or 60, that are closest to me without bothering the rest of you. That's the kind of thing that close friends is useful for.
One more thing I want to mention about close friends is that people don't know when you take them on and off your close friends list. So if there was someone that you were close friends with in the past and now you feel like you don't want them to see your content, you can totally remove them from the list and they will have no idea. Next question. If someone's shadow banned, how do they go about getting back in Instagram's good graces?
So if you think the reach of your account is limited, you can go to profile and then settings and then account status, and you can see if there are any issues with your account. If there are any pieces of content that were taken down, you can appeal if you disagree. And if you are no longer recommendable, meaning we don't show your content to people who do not follow you proactively anymore, you can see why, and you can either appeal or make adjustments right there in line. So go to account status and check it out.
Okay, we're going to take a quick break. When we come back, you're going to hear the head of Instagram answer questions like, any new features you are excited about coming soon? Stick around. Welcome back. Continuing with the questions and answers from the head of Instagram. The next one, any new features you are excited about coming soon? Interestingly, on this one, he talks about a new feature we have not heard about at all before.
There are actually a lot that I'm excited about right now. I'm really excited about edits, which we've talked about, which is hopefully coming out soon. We're still working on it. I'm really excited about a feature we're starting to test called Blend, where you can actually have a feed of reels for you and a friend or a group of friends. You could get to it through your DM thread with them. It's a fun way to opt in to sharing your interests with someone and getting to know them a little bit better. And then I'm also excited about a bunch of things I can't talk about yet.
I want to point out that the concept of a shared Reels feed is extremely interesting. If you are a person who sends Reels back and forth all day with your spouse, best friend, whatever, having a feed of those Reels that you are both likely to find interesting and send back and forth to each other and just facilitating that discussion not only saves time, but also potentially brings you closer together as friends. I like where Instagram is going in this direction because I spend a lot of time receiving DMs with Reels from friends and sending them back. So combining this, I like where this is going. Since Adam Mosseri brought up the new Edits app that the Instagram team is working on, let's have a question about it. Will Edits be easy enough for anyone to use? I certainly hope so. Here's his answer.
That's the hope. Edits is not designed to replace professionals who use desktop software to edit their videos like Final Cut or Premiere. It's for people who love making videos and love doing so on their phones. So the idea is that it's super easy to do and that it's going to eventually be not only really easy to edit videos, but to keep track of your ideas and develop them before you're even ready to shoot or edit.
First off, I'm disappointed that there's no desktop version of that, since there is a desktop version of CapCut. Second, I like the idea about storing ideas for future videos inside the Edits app, because right now I favorite or save things on Instagram, on TikTok, so that I can come back to them later. That's a system that works for me, but it would be good to have them inside the video editing app so that you know how to make it and what tools are possible inside the video editing app that you would need in order to make that video that you've saved. I like where that's going. And the last question we're going to talk about today has to do with story highlights. If you are new to listening to this show, you will know that I do not like story highlights, and I think Instagram should remove them. Stories are meant to be disposable, and I'm guessing that even though you think your story highlights are very good, no one is watching them. You do not know that no one's watching them because Instagram does not give you analytics around that, but I'm willing to bet dollars to donuts that you are not getting the viewers that you think you are on your story highlights. The question: is it true that highlighted stories will eventually disappear? Here's Adam's answer.
No, that is not true. We are experimenting with moving highlights into the grid, but there would still be highlights and you still have control over them. I don't know that we'll end up launching that, but we're trying to find ways to make Instagram simpler while preserving people's ability to curate their profile into something that they're excited about. But we'll see. We'll see if it works.
I think the key thing there would be to give people analytics for their story highlights so they know if anyone is actually watching them or not. In the meantime, feel free to take them away as far as I'm concerned. That is going to do it for today's episode. As always, thank you for listening. If you can, please send me a DM with ideas on how I can get invited to the next Instagram Unfiltered event. Or if you are a person who likes to plan events, is good at planning events, or knows someone who is, send me a DM at Daniel Hill Media so that we could plan our own better event. That would be a good idea. Thank you for listening, and be sure to come back next time for more Instagram news, TikTok news, YouTube news, social media strategy, and a lot more.
Let me tell you a couple things that you should know about me. A product manager, but do not have a bachelor's degree. But actually, that's factually a fraction of me. Another fraction's posting content irregular and irrationally. Still probably won't get a job at the Gram. They forgot, they don't know, or don't care who I am. That's why you never see me at the parties and events. My lack of followers must make me irrelevant. Don't have a course, a book to sell to make a bag of grand. Not a social media marketer, don't represent any brands. Plain to see, don't have an agency, but I got a lot of spam. Just putting in my work, without the glitz and glam. Won't catch me eating fish, unless it's shrimp or clam. No six pack, no risk that, there's a gym card in my hand. Don't have a full-time job, but I got a lot of plans. Stay plotting, dropping knowledge on TikTok and Instagram.